Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome.
Ebony is rumored to have been completely shattered after a date was fixed by the Council of Elders. Okay, they said they basically announced that the ritual to strip 3 of the Oloris of their royal immunity would take place on the 28th of July 2025. She had not known any peace. They said since that time that announcement was made, she has not known any peace. It felt as if her entire world was crumbling before her eyes. On, the very day, everything she held, on to everything that had been given to her, everything that has ever given her meaning is going to be taken away from her, causing a toll of humiliation on her. And that is the reason why she is crying. She had tried to keep a brave face when the announcement first came. The elders had, sat quietly, their faces stained, their voices devoid of pity as they read out the decision. It was to be final. The date was fixed. The ritual would be done, and by the close of that day, she would no longer have the protection and privileges that came with being the wife of the Ooni of Ife. From that moment, she would be like every other woman, stripped of honor, of status, and most painfully, of her palace. Her place beside the man that she loves so much. Well, it's important to understand that they have made it very clear that the Ooni of Ife does not seek to divorce his Oloris. That is against their tradition for a king to, initiate a divorce. And so I do think that this alone explains the reason why it's been very, very cumbersome for Ooni of Ife to make certain decisions right there in the palace. But as we are hearing, if the information is correct in court, they have fixed the date for the removal of immunity. As God will have it, they say Blow's immunity will not be taken away from her. Now they said it's just Ikpe, Ebony, Gospel, who are, standing on that day, and they are the ones whose immunity will be taken. Ebony could no longer bear it. They said the shame alone was enough to drive her into madness. She had spent years in the palace, basking in the dignity that came with her title. People bestowed to her, greeted her with respect, addressed her by her royal title. She walked through the palace ground with her head high, fully aware that she, is one of the chosen women of the Ooni of Ife. All of that was now at risk. She would become an outsider, a woman who once was, whose story would be whispered about with pity and scorn. Now, taking away royal privileges, as they have deliberated and deliberated and deliberated, they said that one of the reasons why this is such a big deal to Ebony is because Ooni of Ife taking away immunity from you means like you are bare. It's like a Muslim woman who doesn't have her scar, her hair tie on. Okay, she's not covering. She doesn't have a covering on her. They say it's a big deal. Okay, if you are in the palace, you understand how important this is. But the reason why Kabiyesi is doing this is not to shame anybody, but is to strengthen the custom, the tradition. They said a lot of things have been taken for granted, and everything that has been done. Those times where you and I will be asking those questions like, what is going on? Why not this? Why not that? Why did Kabiyesi not do this? Why did Kabiyesi not do that? They said it is only because and the immunity is right there covering the Oloris, and whatever they do, as long as they are under that covering of the Oduduwa, nothing is going to happen. Kabiyesi is the only living deity, and if they call you the living deity, if they call you the firstborn of Oduduwa, it comes with a lot of privileges. The gods will not strike you, neither will the gods strike anyone who is under you. You have covering, protection, and all of that. And that is what the Oloris have been basking on, and that is why they have been doing the things that they have been doing. And right now, Kabiyesi is saying, no more, it's not going to be done again. I'm not going to let this. They said the fear that has consumed Ebony is nothing like, it's like nothing that anyone has seen. She broke down in tears, streaming down her face in endless river. There was no composure left in her. Pride had deserted her. She wept openly without care for who saw her or what they would say. She cried in her private chamber. She cried in the courtyard. She even cried in front of the guards, who tried to look away to give her dignity, but dignity was already gone. Ebony took her sorrow straight to the Oni of Ife. She fell at his feet, clutching his ankles, sobbing so hard. Shoulder shock, she pleaded with him once again, her word pouring out between hiccups of pain. My king, I beg you, please, I don't care anymore if you have chosen Queen Naomi over me. Let her be your favorite. Let her have all of you. I just want to remain your wife. I want to keep my place here. Please don't let me down. Don't do this to me. No matter what happened, if it is for one thing that I have done right, please forgive me. Forgive me, forgive me. Her desperation was heartbreaking. The palace maid who witnessed it turned away, unable to watch such raw humiliation. The almighty Olori Ebony, who once stood so proud, was now reduced to begging on the cold marble floor. She did not stop there. When it seemed the Oni was overwhelmed and unable to promise her anything, she turned to elders. She went from, one compound to another, seeking out every elder with influence. She knelt before them, prostrated, fully on the ground, sometimes rolling on the dusty floor as she cried. Her clothes became soiled, her hair undone, her face streaked with tears and dust, like she has been begging everybody. They say she visited the families of these elders too. She held the hands of their wives, begging them to speak to their husbands. So she sat with old women weeping into their laps, asking them to remember what it meant to be a woman, to understand her pain. Some of them pitied her and promised to talk to their husbands, that they understand how humiliating this will be, that yes, indeed, she has erred, but, to err is human and to forgive is divine, that they should forgive her. She knows that she has erred and she has done, things that she ought not to have done, but everything that she did to keep her husband. Everything she did, she was driven by love to do those things, that they should please and please and please. Now, the reason why this has become such a burden on Ebony is that with all the deliberations and everything, it was never like, knowing that a date was fixed is such a big thing. Like, why would they fix a date after everything that we have discussed, after everything the elders have discussed, after all the elders' effort to try and make things different? Why would they still fix a date? Fixing a date means that things has gone overboard, and that is the reason why Ebony is feeling as bad as she is feeling. Like, she is in that place where nobody wants to be. She is just, everything she's doing, they say she's just trying to summon up courage because she is in a terrible place right now. I'm going to bring you more update. Do not forget that these are all alleged, rumored, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.